Why? Why? Don't worry about him. He's just missing a dear friend. Anyway, hello and welcome. I'm Liam the Music Reviewer, and today we're going to be talking about the latest release by Lil Yachty, titled Nuthin to Prove. Lil Yachty, man, this guy has just been having a bad time, and I don't mean personally. Well, maybe he has had a bad time personally, I don't know that, but when it comes in terms of his camaraderie with critics and reviewers, not looking too good for him, at all. When it came to pretty much his breakthrough kind of release, which would be the mixtape Little Boat, yeah, there was people that were quite, who kind of warmly received it, myself included. I think it's home to one of the best hip hop songs of the past few years. Which, yeah, is just insanely catchy, has that like really frosty production, but pretty much since Little Boat, he's just not being shown the same sort of warm welcome that he was back in 2016. Oh my god, Teenage Emotions, man. I came back to this album today when I was reviewing it. What an absolute chore this record is. It really is so frustrating. There's just these like really long bouts of aimlessness, just some really like shallow stylistic choices which don't really make much sense, and just the personality and character that Yachty showed off before, which people kind of gravitated towards and again sort of like warmed up to him with, just was totally absent when it came to Little Boat 2 earlier this year. Granted, it's a bit more endurable, I won't deny that, but that endurability isn't kind of reflected in the overall quality of it. I think it kind of sound-wise kind of coalesced with a lot of trap rap around at the moment, which meant that Achilles heel that I was talking about when it came to Teenage Emotions, of it not having much personality, was kind of just amplified further, and it kind of felt that maybe Little Boat was a fluke, and for a lot of people they don't even like Little Boat, so it was looking kind of shaky for him, and I think it makes sense why even people that did like Little Boat were sort of worried when it came to this record here. And I say record, I'm not 100% sure whether or not it's a studio album or a mixtape. The internet just seems to be kind of conflicted on it, so I'll probably just call it a release, but my expectations were quite low, and when it came to the opening track, Give Me Respect, I wasn't blown away by it. I wasn't sort of like, oh my god, this is it, he's back and he's better than ever, but I wouldn't deny that like there is a sort of kind of like charm to it, I would say. The interpolation of Little Sko's Killer was quite a nice touch, and there's some pretty funny lines on here. I think the line where he's going, they can buy every new watch, it still wouldn't buy him more time, is such a Yachty line. It would sound really corny if it came from a lot of other rappers, but I think when it comes from his mouth, it just is just plain funny. Then Yachty brings in Hot Kid on the Block, Playboy Carti, who, if you didn't know, I haven't really been big on his music. I think on this song he does really walk the thin line of being kind of like one note redundant and being quite hypnotic, which is something that a lot of people said that they loved about Dialect, which I never got. But I think he manages to work that magic on here over a really thick, prominent beat, and the features in general on here I'd say are pretty solid. The big one that everyone will probably be talking about is the song Who Want the Smoke, which has Cardi B and Offset on it. When Cardi B starts off with her verse, I think that it's a bit too similar to the Bodak Yellow one, but she kind of gets past that hitch. She starts to kind of like relax a little bit, and she starts to get quite lively, that sort of like trademark sort of like kind of like wildness that made her album not feel not so kind of like one note or lifeless. She's got quite a bit of character to her, and she does show it off on here, and even Lil Yachty himself starts to kind of like get into that playfulness when it comes to his second verse, when he's going like, pull up in a two-seater in a wife beater, which is it's quite fun, but that in turn makes it so obvious that Offset just isn't doing the same. Granted, his flow is a lot more is different to what it usually is like. That being said, I don't remember much about Culture 2, so maybe that's just an exact copied flow that he did on there, but it's there's a bit more sort of energy driving it, but it's kind of like what I would expect any rapper to kind of hit out with, so it's not really a point of praise here. This really just should have been a Cardi and Yachty collab as far as I'm concerned. Yacht Club sees Juice WRLD get brought in, and thankfully he avoids some mundane incel anecdotes that were found pretty much all over his big hits this year. I think that there's a bit of kind of back and forth between Yachty and Juice WRLD. There's kind of like a little bit of chemistry there, the way they work with each other kind of feels like some like sexually liberated Chuckle Brothers on this song. Granted, I think this first half of the album is a bit too samey production wise. There's nothing that really dazzles me all that much. There's nothing that irritates me, but there's nothing that kind of like totally won me over either, and this song is no exception either. But I do think that there is a sort of kind of like humour to it, which will probably make it not feel like a challenge on repeated listens. There's the line that I need to bring up, which where Yachty goes, "I think I nutted in her, I might need a playpen," which got a laugh out of me. And there's a lot of kind of like bad lines on this as well. So again, I wouldn't say it's a good song, but there's like some stuff going for it, some stuff not going for it. It's definitely a song that's doing something and isn't just sort of like there existing. So for the first half of this release, I'm not finding most of it all that great. I think, like I say, the beats are a bit standard, but right after Who Want the Smoke, I'm given something from this album that feels a bit more what I'm looking for, something that's a bit more unique, and something that I'm able to kind of like dig my claws into, and that comes from the song Worth It, which I think some people are going to hate. I just know, I've got this feeling. I haven't watched any other reviews or read any other reviews, but I know people are going to hate it. But I think it's just undeniable that there's this just kind of like undiluted wholesomeness just in its purest form to be found in here. Plethora of it, where Yachty's basically singing to his girl and rapping along, basically saying like how she's perfect to him, that no matter if she wants to get surgery and kind of like deal with these flaws that she kind of thinks she has, he thinks you're flawless, but if you want to do that, I'm not going to judge you, I'm here for you, I'm going to be rooting for you, like I'm your number one fan, which I think, yeah, like I say, it's just wholesome, it's just very positive. And usually I think women are kind of like mocked if they ever get like plastic surgery, just kind of like called like fake and all that, and it's just kind of like it's kind of refreshing to have that, not only in hip hop but just music in general, because it only seems to be that all our women are saying it. So for like somebody that's a guy to kind of go like, you know what, I should say something about this, wouldn't expect Yachty to be the one to do it, but I think it works well. Is that wholesomeness kind of hit off kilter by a line on another song where it's kind of assumed but not outright said a homophobic slur. I can't really deny that. It kind of soured the sweetness of this album, or whatever sweetness it had, just a tad. It was just kind of needless, and I think Yachty knew what he was doing, and there's no clear context to justify it. It's not an Alex Cameron situation where he's playing a character. Maybe someone can tell me that there's some sort of pre-existing lore. I know in Little Boat that he tries to say that Little Boat and Little Yachty are two different people, but I don't think he's continued it. I don't think it's something that it's not quite a K-Dot Kendrick situation. I don't know, I'm going on for this far too long, so we'll just kind of like jump into how the rest of the album goes. And I think the cuteness train, the wholesome train we'll call it, does keep going. There's no delays or anything like that. Everything good, everything right, has just these radiant, bright and upbeat synth keys, which add like quite an apt backdrop for another sort of upbeat song. But I think Yachty was trying to come up with a song where he's rejected and he just kind of like takes it on the chin, but he just comes across as really bitter. Like he's been kind of spending too much time with Juice WRLD just for that one song. I just wasn't kind of a fan of it, though granted I do think the chorus is just kind of catchy, auto-tuned works and all, but penultimate track, we get the best song on here. Just hosts to some of the most lush craftsmanship of the entire release. That song is Fall in Love, and there's this use of, I want to say harp or koto, some sort of string instrument anyway, and it just immediately reminded me of something that Sampha would have used on Process, which just immediately kind of like evoked something out of it, and not just because I was like, oh, that's like what Sampha would have done. There's just some sort of like something to this instrument that just gets to me, and the rest of the song There's like these like really kind of heavy and penetrable synth lines, so there's a kind of like really nice mix of the organic and the artificial, which is kind of a similar clash that kind of Lil Yachty's experiencing here, where he finds this girl that's going out with somebody and he wants her, but like you can always sense that there's a sort of guilt there that's kind of like emphasised from the production. And when Yachty mentions that he's fell in love once again on the chorus, I just think there's an air of authenticity that means that the mood that's created here doesn't feel disingenuous or hyperbolic. It just feels utterly right, and I just love this song. Stoney is an adequate closer. I love the way that this song kind of like its beat ascends and has this kind of a warmth, and again Yachty's singing about love. It might not ooze the genuineness of the song that precedes it, but it's still quite cute, though it kind of made clear an obvious issue with this record where there's just these very two clear halves, and again I just don't feel much from the first half of it. I don't think there's many songs here that I'll return to, maybe the first two, and I think maybe St. Laurent YSL, they're probably only 3 songs from the first half, so out of 7 tracks in the first half, and with the Cardi B and Offset song kind of just being like right in the middle, sort of like separating the two, just they're the only 3 I'd go for, and even then I don't think those 3 are all that great. I just found them enjoyable, and the second half is definitely host to more of what I'm looking for. There's just some really kind of like odd moments on a second half, where I just feel, why are they here? Specifically Trippie Redd, who I've just never kind of thought was somebody that I would kind of gravitate towards, and I still don't, and I think this song especially kind of goes on for a bit too long. It just felt a bit needlessly stretched out, but overall I had a lot more fun with this than I was really expecting to, which was a nice surprise obviously. I do think that obviously it feels a bit divided, and I don't think there's like really great moments. There's Fall in Love, which I liked a lot, and there's just a few songs that I do like. There wasn't really any sort of kind of song where I was like, this is an absolute stinker, this is like really bringing me down, which a lot of Teenage Emotion songs were like. So in terms of a score, I'm feeling a very generous like 6 out of 10. Again, like any sort of rating I give out, that's subject to change, but I can't deny the entertainment that I got out from this release. But as always, I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say, and let me know what your favourite songs were, your least favourite songs, a score even. We'll kind of get chatting down in the comments like we always do. And thank you for watching, guys. Thank you as always. Stay safe and stay hydrated.
Drink it when it's hot, I might drink it when it's cold. With a flavor so bold, you can feel it in your toes. Cold like a Sprite soda, cold like a Sprite soda, cold like a Sprite soda, cold like a Sprite soda.